The differences and similarities in the Trump and Putin visits to China. May 23, 2026. Chinese President Xi Jinping's recent meetings with U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin appeared similar in ceremony but highlighted major differences in China's relationships with the two countries. Both leaders were welcomed in Beijing with military honors, children waving flowers and flags, and formal meetings at the Great Hall of the People. However, while Trump's visit focused on stabilizing strained China-U.S. ties, Putin's trip emphasized strengthening the already close strategic partnership between China and Russia. Xi tailored his approach to each leader. During Trump's visit, he emphasized symbolism and hospitality, understanding Trump's appreciation for public displays of respect. Trump was given a rare tour of Zhongnanhai, the headquarters of China's leadership, as well as a visit to the Temple of Heaven. Analysts noted that Xi aimed to make Trump feel highly honored and respected before the cameras. Putin's visit, by contrast, centered more on substance than ceremony. Xi and Putin spent most of their time inside the Great Hall of the People discussing bilateral cooperation, reviewing a photo exhibition on China-Russia relations, and sharing tea. Their meetings focused heavily on reaffirming their no-limits partnership and expanding cooperation in areas such as energy, trade, and technology. The schedules of the visits also reflected the differences in the relationships. Trump stayed in China for 3 days, while Putin's visit lasted only 2. Yet Putin's visit carried deeper political significance. It was his 25th trip to China, compared with Trump's second presidential visit. The clearest contrast emerged in the messaging from the two summits. Xi's discussions with Trump emphasized the need to stabilize relations after months of tensions and a damaging trade war between the world's two largest economies. Xi urged the United States to view China as a partner rather than a rival, and both sides agreed to work toward what they described as a constructive China-U.S. relationship of strategic stability. In contrast, Xi and Putin focused on reinforcing a partnership they already consider essential. Russia and China presented themselves as major powers in an increasingly multipolar world. Putin highlighted energy cooperation, particularly oil and gas, as the driving force behind the relationship. The outcomes of the visits further illustrated the gap between the two relationships. China and Russia signed more than 40 cooperation agreements covering trade, technology, media exchanges, and other sectors. They also signed a joint declaration describing both countries as important centers of global power. Trump and Xi, however, did not publicly sign agreements or issue a joint declaration during the visit. Only after Trump left Beijing did Washington announce several deals, including China's agreement to buy U.S. agricultural products worth $17 billion annually and purchase 200 Boeing aircraft. Analysts noted the lack of visible agreements compared with the extensive deals reached with Russia. Still, not everything went smoothly for Moscow. Observers pointed out that Xi and Putin did not finalize a formal agreement on the long-discussed Power of Siberia 2 gas pipeline through Mongolia, a project considered highly important for Russia's energy exports. Taiwan also revealed stark differences between China's relations with the United States and Russia. Xi warned Trump that Taiwan remains the most sensitive issue in China-U.S. relations and that mishandling it could lead to confrontation. Trump avoided discussing Taiwan publicly during the visit but later described U.S. arms sales to Taiwan as a valuable bargaining tool with China, causing concern in Taiwan. Russia, meanwhile, fully aligned itself with Beijing's position. In their joint declaration, Moscow reaffirmed opposition to Taiwanese independence in any form and supported China's efforts toward national unification. China and Russia also jointly criticized what they described as Japan's accelerated remilitarization amid tensions in the region over Taiwan. By the Associated Press, story by E. Eduardo Castillo, Canis Leon, and Simona Mistrino, May 23, 2026.